right tonight, so I'm going to click that OK.
Okay.
Right, stick that up there and put it down like this, so hopefully it should work all right. Shove my chair out the road. So I'm starting by doing the oat filling for the sweet. So I've just melted some butter in here and I've added in my oats and my brown sugar. That's showing up all right on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's grand, Jane.
Right. So this I will just push to the side again. So I'll just keep stirring away at that while it's cooking, because this takes about 10 minutes just over a gentle heat. So I'm also going to get my mince started. I don't normally use this pan for cooking chili in, but we tried doing a wee trial earlier on, and Jim said, I can't see a thing that you've got in that pan there. I had to find another pan that would sit down lower. So we've got our mince just starting to gradually brown there. This is 5% fat mince, and I'm just dry frying it. Now I've got my onion here. Are you getting a great reflection on this? Are you able to see?
Mm-hmm. I see that fine, yeah.
Like my screen, I've got quite a reflection, but it's maybe just the way the light's hitting it because I've tipped it down a wee bit. So when I peeled my onion, I cut off the hairy part of the root. I kept the main part there. That helps to hold it together, and theoretically it holds in a lot of the oils, stops your eyes from watering. You want to cut down through the centre, lay it down flat, cut down into it, not go right into the root again. And turn it round, and using an action like that with your knife, just go back through and you'll get your diced onion. Just turn the wee end bit round. My mince is just starting to heat now, so I can hear it giving a little bit of sizzle. This is just like when we're cooking at home, we never just cook one thing, we've got a few things on the go at the same time. We're going to chop up the rest of this onion. Try and work with a nice sharp knife. A lot of people are scared of sharp knives. It's far easier to work with a sharp knife, because if you work with a blunt knife, you've got so much more pressure on it. If you work with a sharp knife, you don't need to do so much pressure. If you do happen to cut yourself, you're not going to get as bad a cut. I want to put the majority of this onion into here. I don't know whether you can really see there, but even though this was 5% mince, there's a little bit of oil come out of that. So that's why you don't need to add any more oil into the pan. Just dry fry it. Now just breaking the mince down a wee bit. Obviously, for one portion, you're not going to use all this quantity of mince. You can freeze it. What a good thing to do is, if you could buy a bigger pack of mince if you want, or just this is like a 250-gram pack, and cook it to this stage, brown it off with some onion, and then divide that into dishes into the freezer. And then whether you want to have some chili, some bolognese, or just some mince and tatties, you've got it part cooked, then just to finish the bits and pieces off into it. And it's not actually in the recipe. What I'm going to add into this tonight is a bit of lentils. These are speckled lentils. These are from the grape tree. You can get come in Tesco's lentils, barrettes, or however you pronounce it. So this just bulks it out a wee bit. Also add quite a bit of fibre into it. You're going to get fibre from your kidney beans anyway. So we've got that browned. So into that we want to add a can of chopped tomatoes. And I'm making tomato-based things. I used to like to add a little bit of tomato ketchup to it. Just a good squash, about a tablespoon roughly. If I was doing mince for like mince and tatties or a stew, I quite often put brown sauce in it. Just adds a wee bit of flavour. I've got my chilli powder sitting here and I forgot to add it in. And this spoon doesn't fit in. 1-2 teaspoons, depending on how spicy you like it. I like it reasonably mild. Jim likes it really spicy. He says I make chilli flavoured mince rather than chilli. And my can of kidney beans. What I would do with my kidney beans is I'll put my hand over it like that and turn it up like that over the sink and allow the water that's in that to run out and fill it up with water and give it a shake. I've just suddenly remembered I'm supposed to be stirring this as well. There's 1 or 2 wee bits in the bottom, are quite crispy. Rinse that a couple of times. Throw that in. And the stock cube. This is just a Nor beef stock cube. You can dissolve it if you want in some water or something, but I'm just throwing that in. Because I've added the lentils, this will need a little bit more liquid in it, so I'm just going to add a wee bit of water, rinse out my can. Just want to bring this up to the boil. I'm going to put a lid on it and allow it to simmer. Apologies. I did have my phone in silent, but I had an alarm set for the other day and it's obviously still set for every day. So this is crisping up nicely. Into it, I'm just going to add some mixed seeds. There's sunflower, pumpkin. I can't remember what the small one is. Just going to pop that in for the last minute or so. Because this is now coming up the boil, I'm just going to actually transfer it over onto the hob so I can use this wee gas ring for something else. So that's our stuff called crisped up. I'm just going to put this into a bowl to cool. Just want to give this pan a quick wipe out because I'm using it for the next dish. So I'm going to do my omelette wrap. For this, I want to put a little bit of oil into the pan. Now I'm using a spray bottle of oil. If you don't have a spray bottle, just a little bit of out the bottle. But don't use that 1 cal oil because it's got water in it. All it does is ruin your pans. So I just want to put a little bit of oil in this. I'll twist together a couple of eggs with some seasoning. Thought I had everything to hand, but I hadn't brought a spatula across for doing this. But we just want to let this egg set. So this takes about a minute or so. And then what I'm going to fill mine with tonight is I've got some ham and cheese. And the other thing that I've got is these pickled pink onions. These are from Aldi. And they're just like little slices of onion. But they're really nice, just added into something like this. Once the egg is almost set. Once it's about set, you want to flip it over and cook the other side. Now we can do this, eat this when it's either hot or cold. So if you want to eat it just as your meal, if you want to prepare it for going out for a picnic or take for packed lunch. Also, if you've got somebody who's a celiac and you're maybe going to be making sandwiches and wraps and things, you can use this similar to how you would use a wrap. You just run the spatula around the side. I hope it's not sticking at the bottom. If you're not doing this with an audience, it doesn't stick. If you want it as a more substantial meal, you can actually use like a flour tortilla and then put the egg on top of that, and then put your filling in and roll it up. So this is almost set on the other side. I just want to slide that onto my plate. So you can put whatever kind of filling you want on it. I'm just going to put a slice of ham. Put on a little bit of cheddar. Just a little bit of mayonnaise up the centre of it's quite nice as well. Or you can do it with tuna mayonnaise or any kind of vegetables that you would like to add into it.
You want 10, sorry.
Did somebody ask something there? What? So then just want to wrap that, roll that up. And that's what it looks like. We'll just set that to the side. This little pan's going to get a big wipe out because it's on the go again. We're we're going to get our Kedgeree started. So I've just got some water. I'm going to add in some smoked fish. This is basa, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a smoked fish. It said in the packet it was 2 fillets. And opened it up, there was actually 3 fillets that was in it. So this fillet was only actually about 100 grams. It says in the recipe 200 grams, but just whatever you've got. So we just want to let that cook slightly. While that's cooking, I'm going to make a cheese sauce. This is probably the most adventurous part to do in a live day. I've just stood at the cat. Oh, life's entertaining. The cat had appeared through and I stepped back and she was in behind me. But I've given her some tea, so she's happy. Right, what was I talking about before? Gave myself a breakfast standing with the cat. Right, I'm going to make a cheese sauce. I was saying this was the thing. Trying to make a cheese sauce that's not going to go lumpy. Well, I did think that was the worst thing until I got attacked by a cat. Well, I didn't actually, I attacked her. So in here I've just got a little bit of margarine which I'm melting. And into this I've got seasoned flour. Just put my seasoning in here as well. A lot of people, when they get to this stage with a roux, they like to cook it out, but I tend not to bother. So I'm just going to add in my milk. And I'm going to do it with a whisk, in the hope that we don't end up with a lumpy sauce. I've just added a little bit to begin with. You put that over a gentle heat. So this fish is cooking away quite nicely. I'm going to flip it over. It isn't the traditional way to make enchiladas. Don't always have cheese sauce on them, but I love cheese sauce. I would have cheese sauce in anything. I've just wanted that to thicken slightly and my fish is cooking away. And my heart's going 9 to the dozen after jump on the cat. She's now sitting in the utility room giving me a right dirty look. My sauce is almost thickened up because it's only a small amount that I'm doing here. It's just quarter of a pint of milk that I had in there. I want to add about 2/3 of this cheese. So that's about an ounce of cheese that I'm adding into the sauce. I'll just set that to the side for a moment. So this fish is about cooked. I just want to lift this out onto a plate. I'm just going to put the lid, chop it to keep it warm. And I want to keep my stock. I'm going to keep that separate. Just want to melt a little bit of butter in here. This is about an ounce of butter. And into that, I'm just going to add this bit of onion that I saved from earlier. Just want to let this onion cook a little bit. Put the gas down and it had gone off completely, so I turned it up a wee bit again. So into this onion, we want to add a little bit of curry powder, roughly about a teaspoon. Normally I would let that onion cook a wee bit more, but it's not that exciting sitting watching some onion cooking. And into that I'm going to add in some rice, and I've got my salt in here as well. This is just normal long grain rice. And put my water that the fish was cooked in, so it's basically a fish stock now, back into here. So I used a fillet of fish today, but you can use some frozen fish, like a fish pie mix is quite good for this as well, because then you can just put in however much you want. This is something that you can make smaller or larger depending on your appetite. So I just want that to come back up to the boil. Turn it down a bit, put the lid back on, and allow that to simmer. And the rice will absorb all that nice flavoured stock. because we're waiting on the chilli cooking tonight, I've actually got Blue Peter style. I've got some that I made earlier. I've just popped it into the microwave for a couple of minutes. This is the flour tortilla. Now these usually come in packs of 8, sometimes 6, but mostly 8. They keep in the cupboard really well. They'll keep for quite a wee while in the cupboard, or you can freeze them, just wrap them individually, and they'll freeze really well. These are probably one of Jim's favourite go-to if he's just looking for a snack lunch. So he puts a bit of ham, bit of cheese on it, wraps it up and pops it in the microwave. That's one of his favourite things. So this chilli's not piping hot, but it'll do fine because we're not going to be eating it just now anyway. So I'm using a dish like this, but just whatever kind of dish you've got. I put my tortilla in there, adding my chilli into the centre. Fold in the side, you can see how it goes softer once the chilli's there. Fold in the sides, wrap it round, just turn it over so that your folds are onto the bottom. A little bit of cheese sauce. It's now going over the top. And we sprinkle on the cheese sauce, the cheese that was left. You can either pop this in the oven under a grill, and I'm going to pop it into my air fryer. Just giving this a little stir at the gas, I've gone off again. We've turned it down. So while that's cooking away, when you finish all our desserts, don't know whether you can see that that's sort of gone a bit crispy. The butter and sugar's made it a bit harder. Makes it crunchy. Well, this is the after eight mousse. In here I've got my 4 after eights, 20 grams of mini marshmallows, and 10 millilitres of water. That's about a dessert spoon of water. Now I've just melted that slightly. You'll see just with the heat of it, the rest of the marshmallows are starting to melt. So that was about 20 seconds, that was in the microwave for. We're just doing an individual one. Give it a wee second more. Our marshmallows have almost melted now. You can do this with the big marshmallows as well. They'll just melt down quite well. Some of the mini marshmallows, I think they've maybe got more of a coating on them. They don't melt down as well. I've used the Aldi ones and they didn't melt down so well. It's fine for doing like a rocky road or something. So I'm just going to let that sit and cool. This has almost absorbed all the water. I just want to check and see if the rice is cooked. The rice is just a little bit hard, so let's pop a little spot more water in.
No.
These oats that I've done tonight are almost cool. But this is some that I made at the time I did it for taking the pictures for doing this demonstration. I just put them into an airtight container and they've kept fine. These are really nice just to add them a little bit sprinkled in amongst your cereal. If you're having some nice healthy cereal, just add a wee bit of that to it. But if you prefer, you can just use some granola for doing this rather than toasting up the oats. Now I'm just using some peaches. So the ones that you get in the wee tubs like this, you get four tubs in the packet. These are quite handy if you're just yourself and you don't want a whole lot. Obviously, 100 grams are a wee bit dearer than what they are if you're buying a bigger can, but you're not going to use them all. Just keeping an eye on that thing that's underneath the air fryer there. I'm layering this with some yogurt tonight. This is a fruity yogurt that I'm using. So it's a layered fruit yogurt, so I'm just giving it a stir through. It's a blackcurrant and blueberry or something, just what I happen to have in the fridge.
Those two are rolled together.
I've got somebody else talking in the background there.
Suggest that maybe.
So as I say, I'm using a flavoured yogurt for this. But as I think I said on the last skill share that I did, quite often I just use natural yogurt. And I have some of these kind of wee things. This is a vanilla coffee syrup. And this is a lemon and lime Robinson's. It's just a very concentrated squash. You just add a little bit of that to the natural yogurt. Gives a nice flavour. That way we've got the natural yogurt for we want to do it for cooking as well. So I've got a little bit of that in. Add a little bit of oats. You can do this in any kind of glass you've got. If you do it in a wine glass, it does look nicer. You can just do it in a ramekin or something if you want. So that's a little fruit oat layer. Now everything's all kind of coming together at the same time. The rice is just almost ready. I just want to break up my fish a little bit. This is quite a small fillet actually. Put that in, and just got a few peas here. I'll just check these out, the freezer there, they're on. Normally I would just shake the frozen peas straight in. And just leave that for a couple of minutes, a gentle heat, just allow the fish to heat through again. Your peas don't really need to cook very much. And if you want to make it more substantial, you can add in some hard-boiled eggs. This is a little enchilada that's been underneath the grill in the air fryer. Put that to the side just now. Have a quick tidy down. Right, so I finish off after Eight Mousse. This has cooled down slightly. Now normally I do this with whipped cream, but when I was prepping for this demonstration, I thought if you're only cooking for yourself and you only want 50 mils of whipped cream, what are you going to do with the other 250 mils? But then it brought back to a memory that we've been talking about one day just not that long ago of can you still get dream topping? So I went to the supermarket to see whether you could still get dream topping. And this is the dream topping mixed up. You can see it's whiter than what the cream is. Consistency wise, it's slightly airier. I don't think that airier is actually a word, but I'm sure you all know what I mean by that. So it's handy if you just want to make up a small quantity because you just use 30 mils of milk and a fifth of the packet, which is 7 grams of the powder, and whip it up. It does take slightly longer to whip up than what the cream did. I'm just trying to decide which one I'm actually going to use for it tonight. I think I'm going to use the cream. This cream I just whipped up earlier. I just want to fold it through. Now, the easiest way to fold it through is actually to use a balloon whisk. So just gently stir it through with your balloon whisk. Stir through that last little bit of cream. If you want to do this for a few people, you can actually add a bit of egg white in as well. Obviously, you need to multiply up the rest of your ingredients. But it does just make it slightly lighter if you add the egg white into it. And the quantities for that is actually on my recipe page. That was my lockdown project. So it was on the thing, but it's called Jane's Recipes, very original. And there's lots of different recipes on there. So if anybody wants to have a wee look at it, you don't have to, it's a Facebook page, but you don't have to have a Facebook account to have a look at it. So that, ladies, I think it's all ladies. Maybe some gentlemen on tonight, I don't know. That's brought me to the end of my demonstration tonight. Try and find all the things and bring them all back together. The Kedgeree is still in the pan. There was it. So because we just added the peas for the last couple of minutes, they've still got the nice bright greenness to them.
I thought a little obvious, and again.
Sweet, and Nicholas and Dean.
So that is a demonstration tonight, ladies. So if you've got any questions, fire them across.